All right, so Kenny, thank you again for joining me in this session and coming on into a Daily CMO interview and also podcast, right? So to quickly introduce you to whoever is watching and also listening to this one, Kenny has been freelancing for over 13 years, content writer, and has 7 years of experience in Upwork. But before that, he was an electronic engineer and also a small business owner. So a lot of experience from you, a lot of things to take away from you. But what I'm really interested in is to understand how you went into Upwork to become a freelancer and how we can actually take some lessons from you and pass it on to other freelancers who are just beginning out and starting off in their careers. To get started, right? Maybe Kenny, you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Ruben. As Ruben said, I am a freelancer at Upwork with 7 years of experience. The question is, how did I went from being electronics engineer and particularly one who's running a business to someone who's making a living fully online now? When I was doing electronics engineering business, I found that I'm being constrained to physical locations. And during that time, my market is solely in Malaysia. And due to a few reasons, I decided to transition to making money online. And how I started exactly is I enrolled in an affiliate marketing course and I started building websites, writing blogs and stuff. And I found that I actually like writing. So I tried writing and sharing copies on social media and stuff. People encouraged me to take it seriously. So I started by creating accounts on all the international freelance marketplace,
Okay.
including Upwork, Fiverr, People Per Hour Guru, and freelancer.com. Eventually, I found that Upwork has the most opportunities for content writers or copywriters, but it is also the toughest platform to be in because you are competing with freelancers all over the world.
Okay, very interesting. So let's backtrack a little bit. Right, you mentioned you were creating affiliate websites. So what kind of affiliate websites were you creating, and what sort of like companies were you affiliated to?
Okay, my first website is about meditation, hypnosis, those kind of self-development stuff. And I promote products from Amazon, Mind Valley, and a few other private affiliate network. Further on, I built a few more affiliate websites. One is about pest control, was doing quite well a few years later. The other one is about headphones. I think 2 years back, I started something on promoting Malaysian products from Shopee and Lazada.
So you're still running those affiliate sites right now?
I'm not actively putting effort in them because I think certain strategies are obsolete already. Instead, I'm focusing on building a new one that revolve around my content writing experience on Upwork. There's a new site that I'm working on right now.
Oh, so with that new site, you're planning to offer more services, or are you planning to affiliate to something like Upwork? Or?
It's not going to be affiliated to Upwork. It will be, I will use it to expand my writing service. That's number one. Number two, I will also be promoting software or tools that help writers, copywriters, or even business owners. I may think of using the website as a launching platform for probably a SaaS business that I might want to do in the future.
Okay, so let's talk about your freelancing journey, right? So 7 years on Upwork now, something that I always tell, because I teach a freelance course as well. And one thing that I normally advise to people who are starting off as a freelancer, right, is, I mean, this is again for discussion, right? But I always tell them to avoid using or going on to Upwork and also to Fiverr, because in my perspective, right, in my opinion, right, a lot of employers on Upwork, they'll just filter and sort by price and go for the lowest one. So you come from a very interesting perspective because you've been there for 7 years, right? I think there's a few things which is good on your end because you are doing like effectively job arbitraging, right? You're in Malaysia and then you're earning in USD, right? But what's your experience on that one? So how do you stand out on Upwork, or do you disagree with what I just said? What are your thoughts?
You mentioned that employers normally scroll and look for the cheapest freelancers.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, there are cases like that, not only on Upwork, but also, I mean, in the local scene or any country, you have those kind of situations as well.
Mm,
Content writing and copywriting is undervalued in many places, right? Probably because people cannot see the effort that we put in to create those texts. We might spend hours to research and come up with ideas, but people they are not aware of that. So maybe that's why they look for price or they have budget constraint. But
okay.
anyway, that's definitely not true. If you are new on Upwork or Fiverr, if you price yourself above the average rate, it will be difficult to get jobs because you have no ratings and so on the platform.
Okay.
But again, once you have built enough ratings, like 10 good reviews there, you can start to scale your price gradually, right? If you're so busy, then the next jobs come in, you try to increase. There was once I got 2 articles.
Okay.
It takes me like less than 1 day. The pay was like 1,500 USD
Per article?
just 1 day. Two articles.
2 articles per. Okay.
Yeah, 2 articles, like 700 words each. So
And where
it's like
where was these clients from? Are they from US or are they from other countries?
US generally they pay higher.
Okay.
That's for sure. And it also depends on whether it's a large company, MNC, or it's a SME, small medium business, or is it individual? Sometimes there are individual website owners who hire content writers. They might be looking for beginner writers with low rates. There are also cases like that. It's about how you position yourself gradually when you become more experienced and can bring more value to the table.
So what kind of like framework or formula would you suggest? Like if I'm new on Upwork, right? Should I go and filter down and go by the lowest price first to get some jobs in? And then if so, right, how many jobs should I get before I increase my price? Do you have like a framework since out from your experience on being Upwork for 7 years?
Normally I share this advice to new Upworkers. So when you go in with blank, empty, you have to position yourself. No choice. You take very jobs that people don't want to take. We can filter like jobs with less than 5 proposals. Like nobody want to take the job. Either it's very tough, or it's very low price, or the client has no solid history on Upwork. Also, sometimes we also evaluate the client before taking jobs.
Yep.
So those are jobs that nobody wants to take. And back then, I took a lot of jobs like this, right? $5 for some writings, But the important thing is after you write, you deliver, and if the client is satisfied, you just send them a note. Can you leave a review on my profile or something like that? If they're happy,
so you're building a base.
They'll give you 5 stars. So how many good reviews you want to have? I would say maybe 10 is good enough, or until Upwork have this thing. It has this thing called a job satisfaction score, like how many percent. Good freelancers is normally 85% and above. Usually this comes after around 6 months when you're on Upwork. Yeah. If you 6 months, if you get your JSS, they call it JSS, then you can maybe try to raise your price for the new job.
All right. So get at least 10 reviews, a span of like maybe around 6 months before I start to scale my prices up.
As long as it is within if you search like content writer Upwork rate, you'll find a bell curve. Yeah. If it's within that bell curve, I believe it is quite easy to move up.
So how do you normally like take on jobs on Upwork? Like for example, I've hired on Upwork before. So when I post up a job, right, everyone would just send in their proposals. And what I would do, right, one little trick I'll do is like I will come out with my job brief, and then at the end of the brief, I'll say, hey, if you're interested, message me, but start your comment with maybe marketing or Malaysia, right? And then I'll see all these jobs, and then I'll see like, who has actually read my brief and who actually wrote Malaysia or marketing in their message. So those who have not written that little keyword I put in, right, I will just immediately decline those requests, and I will just filter down to those who have actually read my job brief. But in your end, right, as a freelancer, right, do you do that as well, or do you normally what's the process like? So how do you filter down clients, and how do you select the jobs, or what are some ways you do to stand out and make sure you'll be the person to get a job when you're proposing, when you are selecting?
First and foremost, I have to say this: getting jobs on Upwork is not easy, even for seasoned freelancers like me or someone that's been more successful than me. We have this. We can see view from our statistic. There's an analytics there. Proposals that we send, open, interview, and hired. I will say that, of course, I will read all the description, and if you put something like please mention marketing, then I will definitely start the first one with marketing, right?
Okay.
Second is definitely you don't use a prepared template. You don't make it like a copy and paste.
Yeah,
proposal.
I've seen all the kind of stuff, and turns me off all the time.
Third, you don't do something like I'm a copywriter. I have 7 years experience, and I can do this for you. Please hire me, sir. No, this one definitely won't work. Don't do this. What I do is I try to personalize, go very personalized. Like what is this client doing? Like I give you an example. A few weeks ago, there was an European client looking for content writer, and they mentioned the company name. So I Google the company, go to the website, and look for interesting points to talk on, talking points. I saw one stat, so I just mentioned, hey, I didn't know that Google did this and that, but thankfully I went to your website, and because I went to your website, I also know that you are doing this and this and this. So it becomes conversational and very relevant to the company. So they will think like, hey, this freelancer, this candidate does his homework. And second point is, this is very important. If you get this right, maybe if I didn't put the marketing there, they will also hire me. Second point is, you must always include your past relevant results. If it's content writing, probably a few links to published articles that are relevant to maybe some digital marketing articles or SEO articles or job on marketing content. Because I also sometimes hire on Upwork also.
Oh, okay. What kind of skills or what kind of job do you hire for?
Also content and graphic design. These two I sometimes hire also. They just tell me how good they are, but they don't show it to me, so it's very hard to judge. I've proven this theory also in a few of my proposals. I actually tested different types of proposals. There was a period where I just sent, dear sir, okay, these are my works in the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hope to hear from you further. And the response is quite good also, despite that I don't do so much work in personalization. If you have strong portfolio, you might have a chance in winning the job. But if you have both, definitely it will be much better.
What's the one biggest thing for you in Upwork? Like what's like the one biggest realization to getting customers on Upwork? Like, do you normally aim for European countries, European customers?
No, I don't specifically aim for that. Okay, because Upwork, there are different ways to get jobs. One is you actively bid for the jobs. Second way is the client invite you for interview, right? In fact, most of jobs that I got is through invitation, because many high-paying clients, or I would say, the premium clients, they don't really post jobs there because they will get all sort of candidates to filter. So as you build your JSS or your rating or your profile on Upwork, because Upwork is a platform, it works on algorithm and stuff. When the customer search for freelancers, you will be ranked higher, you will be visible, so you will get the invite. This is how I strategize my career on Upwork. The other one is quite rare, but like this last night, I have a direct contact from a potential client, so they can just no need to post a job, they will just message you directly,
Oh,
to
so
this.
I'm curious, like how many of your clients on Upwork, right, became like clients outside of Upwork, or do you actually arrange that kind of thing?
No, I don't actively do that. It is
Okay,
officially is against Upwork's policy.
US.
You can
Okay,
get suspended for that. But
okay,
if,
all right.
yeah, you can get suspended. But if the client insists of taking the job out,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I wouldn't say no, right? But the client has to initiate it first.
But do you think it's worth it to do that because you don't get the protection of the platform and all that? I mean, in your experience.
Not for the first few projects, definitely. I mean,
Mhm.
clients that has worked with me for 2 or 3 years, I will consider it. And when you speak about Upwork protection, you have to understand that freelancers are not fully protected. Only in certain cases. For example, on projects on a fixed price,
Mhm.
and assuming that the client has deposited all the funds into the escrow. Escrow is
Okay.
held by Upwork. So, for example, let's say you give me a job, $100, but you only deposit $50 in the escrow. I submit the work, but let's say I cannot contact you in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I submit a request. Upwork will only release that $50 in the escrow. That means I'm only 50% protected. It is not foolproof,
I see.
right?
I see.
Yeah.
So it still comes back to working and taking the right clients as well. I think that comes with experience also from being on Upwork.
Yeah. I will say that experience working in the local freelance marketplace will help
Okay.
in Upwork.
So one more question about Upwork, right? When it comes to Upwork, I know you can actually go for projects on a fixed price basis or an hourly basis. What are your thoughts on those two models? I'm sure you have done both, right?
Yes, I've done both. Fixed price is definitely the better option for both the clients and the freelancers, because normally clients, they don't really prefer the hourly rates unless they have the budget. Right?
Because they want to cap like how much they're going to spend.
Yes. Yeah, it's same like local marketplace. I think local marketplace, even they're not keen on hourly also. They want the budget there. Unless you're working for really established marketing agencies or companies, then they're willing to let you, use the timer and track your work. There's no right and wrong, buffet also.
But you prefer doing the fixed project rate, more predictable for you as well.
Sometimes working on these hourly rates on hourly can be quite pressure, because sometimes you are working, the article requires more research,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you will have to spend more time. Then you think like you suddenly this job you spend 1 hour more, whether the customer question you or not. Of course, that has never happened to me. Yeah, but you have some worries like this.
Right.
And
Yeah,
sometimes you forget to turn on the timer in between. You lost
then
10
you
or
lose
20
some billing
minutes.
hours.
You have to ask the customer, hey, can I bill at manual time on this or not?
Then there's a lot of like disagreements, potential disagreements that's going to happen from that kind of relationship and arrangement.
Thankfully, it's still okay for me because the client is quite easygoing, and they tend to understand that things like this happen. But it's something that you need to take note when you do hourly.
Do you actually like also charge by value based pricing? Because on Upwork it's always fixed by fixed rate or by hourly, right? But do you go on a sense like, okay, what kind of value can I add to this client? Let's say this project is for this client, maybe it's 100K potential revenue for them, and my content writing bring that kind of value. So you charge by value based on the value you bring to the customer. Do you do that kind of stuff on Upwork or even in your local markets?
No, on Upwork content writing, no. When I was an electronics engineer, yes. As a freelancer or when running a business, definitely yes. Because it is easier to measure. For example, I designed a product that will help you to make a lot of money.
Right.
Example, last time I was in the car parking system industry. Parking system is basically you put money, they collect money and stuff. Yeah, those are equipment that help the clients to make money.
Right,
so you can probably charge more, they'll pay. Content writing, unless you have something to really measure it, the quantitative measurement, to
Yeah.
justify your.
I see. Maybe because content writing it's hard to actually measure immediate results from doing the content writing, right? Content writing normally is a longer ROI. It comes later on, and it's not necessarily
Yes,
very
yeah.
easy to measure it in quantitative terms.
Especially like previously, I positioned myself as SEO content writer because I started doing SEO and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
but SEO, there's a lot of factor, like you have to do technical SEO, backlinks, PR,
Correct.
and stuff. Those are beyond my control. So I cannot guarantee that. And SEO, nobody can guarantee results also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see how I can, mark up my price based on these hypothetical values.
Maybe
I don't
it
see that.
depends on it depends on like what kind of like things you do. I mean, if you're focused just on content writing, then maybe it's a little bit difficult, and that's I think totally understandable. Okay, when it comes to freelancers, right? So let's just say I'm a aspiring freelancer. I'm just starting out, right? What would you recommend me to do? What's your advice for me? Should I go straight to Upwork, or should I try building my brand, my name in the local scene? What would you do if you can turn back like 7 years before and start all over again?
Upwork, there's a risk of getting bad reviews. If you mess up the first few jobs, then it's very hard to recover from. Yeah, I think starting with the local. I'm not saying that you should do a bad job. It's okay to do a bad job, but it's less risky to try something easier. Before you move to Upwork, maybe get a few jobs from the local market and see what's the review like. But with that said,
yeah,
I find that the expectations of local market and Upwork and clients from Upwork is also different also.
Oh, how so?
Yeah, in terms of content writing. For example, Upwork local clients, I only deal with maybe a handful of them. They might practice certain guidelines or review process that are different from say clients from US or UK or Australia. They have very different review process and expectations of what a good content is. So if you spend too much time working with local clients, you will be stuck with a localized way of writing.
True.
Influenced by our local culture, the way we speak, the way we write. And when you're too deep into this and you want to transition to working with international clients, it might be hard because you have to fine-tune, adjust the way you write. So this is one thing you have to consider also. But definitely for new freelancers, I say no harm trying getting a few jobs from the local market.
Right. Okay. To get started, to get your first few successful clients and to start off as a career, right? Speaking about career, right? What is next for you? Are you planning to? I mean, are you continuing and planning to be like a solo freelancer, or are you going to plan to build like a team freelancers and eventually build this into a business? What's like the next step for you?
I think the next step right now, I just started a new community in Facebook for Upwork. Those who want to go to Upwork and become content or copywriter, or those who are already there. And it's just some way of me giving back to the local community and see what I can help them. Professionally, I am still focusing on the overseas market. I will expand my affiliate marketing business, and in terms of copywriting, I will expand also beyond Upwork because I don't like to put all the eggs into one basket, right? I will expand beyond Upwork also. As for whether I will do it with a team, I'm still weighing the options of whether to go as a team of writers or to combine with maybe graphic designers, funnel builders, and other
to
experts.
provide a solution to customers.
Yes, I think that will be more valuable to the client. Yeah.
Right. So the client don't have to select 1, 2, and 3 and 4 different people to work
Yes.
together. Right. They just go
Yes.
to one.
Because one of my clients is actually looking for graphic designer on Upwork also.
Mhm.
Yeah, because she was asking me whether I know anyone.
But before that, right? What is the link to that Facebook group that people can go? You want to give a shout out for that one?
Upwork Writers Malaysia. I think they will find. They can find
Okay.
it.
One last question for you, right? So you've been a
Yeah.
content writer, content marketing person for many years right now, right? What is your best advice for businesses who wants to actually embrace content writing, content marketing into their strategy? What's your best advice in content marketing?
Understand your audience and
Okay.
write in the way that they will understand.
And how do we do that?
To
How do we write in
explain-
a way they
to
understand?
explain.
Mhm.
Because I deal with many tech companies, tech clients,
Mhm.
right? People from technology background, they tend to think and write as a technology person. They will use difficult
All the
technological
jargons.
terms. Yes.
Right.
And if you are selling to B2C, your average consumers are probably not as good in technical terms as you. They will need help to understand what you mean. But
Mhm.
if you have all these terms in your landing page and they can't understand, then they will just probably move to the second, move to other competitors.
Yeah,
So
lose
you have
them,
to,
right? Mhm.
you have to really step into the audience and write in ways that they will understand the nuances and everything.
Right.
Because, I want to stress on this because I find there's a huge difference in the writing culture. I can see writing culture in certain Western nations and maybe countries that they don't speak English natively speak English.
Mhm.
So Western countries, tech content, for example, AWS,
Okay.
they cater to non-English speaker worldwide. So they will explain in very simple terms. Of course, you cannot avoid from technical terms, but they will explain. They write. They explain what is it, so that everyone can understand. But also there are some companies, tech companies, they will use complicated sentences and jargon. It looks impressive. I know you are an expert, but what is it all about? At the end of the day, I don't know what they are trying to say. That's the difference.
So you got to dumb it down to
that, if you can nail that, then your conversion rate will definitely increase.
Right. And one of the things I normally do, right? I mean, I'm probably not as a great content marketer writer as you, but one of the things I do a lot is the way I write like my audiences or my customers is I take a look at the way they write in their chat messages, in the message they send me, in the questions, in those inquiries that they send to me. I'll take their keywords and I put it on the landing page itself, so it sounds more like them talking to themselves in that sense. So that's how I do it. Yeah, so that's my process in writing like my audiences, in a way. So anyway, thank you again for your time, Kenny. Any last things you want to say to anyone who's watching this one or listening to this one?
Anyone who wants to start your journey as freelancer, please look up to Ruben's. He has a very good course on that.
Thank you. I will include you into the course as well in your tips as well. And of course, if you look for Kenny, you can always go to your LinkedIn. How do we look for you, Kenny?
I think it's just Kenny Lee will find me.
All right.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
Okay. And we also put the links to your profiles in this somewhere around this interview, so everyone can find that as well. So again, thank you, Kenny. I
hope
to chat more with you and catch up with you in the future as well.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for